welcome back to episode 3 of the Kenpo Circle. Okay, in this episode I'm going to talk about Knee of Vengeance. Knee of Vengeance is both in White Tiger Kenpo and Tracy's Kenpo. The basic premise is the same in both systems, but they're done slightly different. And that's what I'm going to talk about in this short video. Okay, Knee of Vengeance is for a two-hand push. Now, let's start with Tracy's version. Tracy teaches it as a two-hand push. You come up and you grab the shoulders, knee the groin, stomp the foot, cradle and crutch. Real simple. We teach it step back, knee the groin, stomp the foot into a soft bow, cradle and crutch. Okay, now why the differences? Okay, and that's what we're going to talk about in this episode. The difference is, for me, is this. If someone's going to push you, you're not going to just stand there and grab them with the knee, because they're already coming forward. So they've already got that forward momentum going in their favor. So you're going to be off balance too by having one knee in the air if they come at you and they continue to go. So we solved this problem because every time we tested, if the guy really came in to push, you fell back. We could never get that knee in quite fast enough to do enough damage to stop the attack or to stop the push. So what we've done is we step back. So as soon as the guy goes to push, we're automatically stepping back. So if we get pushed, we're in a good solid stance. We're not going to go backwards. Plus the second advantage to this is it now sets up that knee strike. So then rather than just trying to get this knee in real quick, where you're hoping that just because it's a soft area, it's going to be enough, we can get a good solid strike into that groin area and make sure it really does some damage. So when we step back, we're going to immediately grab. Now we don't necessarily grab shoulders. We grab whatever we can get our hands on. And if the guy's wearing a shirt, we'll usually grab the shirts because that gives us a chance to pull and just kind of push them and pull them around. Or we grab the arms. So anything from the shoulders to the elbows is what we teach students to grab. Whatever is the easiest for you to get a hold of and maintain some control over what you're trying to do. So as the opponent comes in and pushes, we're going to step back. Because there again, if you're just standing here and you push, you can't get that knee up and get it in any kind of damage without falling backwards. And the guy's not going to stand there and just, okay, I'm going to grab you. And most likely he's not going to be just a good shove. Because even then, that would still put you off balance. So we always want to step back and counter grab our opponent. Now why do we counter grab? Well, we do this for two reasons, and this is why we usually teach the arms versus the shoulders. One, now we know where their arms are, or their handles. So now all we have are two weapons out of the four that we have to contend with. Two, by having the arms, we can kind of shove, push, pull, move them around if we need to. If they try to resist, we can adjust, we can do what we need to do to make the technique work, or just totally change the technique because of what's happening. Where if we just grab inside, they can still grab us, okay? So also by grabbing the arms, we can keep them from trying to grab a hold of us or counter grabbing. So as soon as we grab, we want to step back. This is all one move right here, boom. Counter grab those arms, spread it out. Don't keep them in here close. Open their body up to the strike. Set them up for the defense. Knee the groin. And from here, we are going to stomp the foot. Now that is a secondary move in our book when I teach this technique. I don't want students sitting there trying to get that foot. It's not that important, okay? The knee comes up, the foot goes down. If you hit the foot, you got bonus points. If you don't, continue on with the move. Don't sit there and focus on that one strike, because it's not that important, okay? It's a distraction. You may even get their foot up in one leg depending on how hard you can stomp it. The main thing we're looking for, and I'm going to turn this kind of sideways so you can see this probably better this way, is the stance. It's more about setting you up for your next move. We call this shaping, okay? When we try to set each thing up for our next strike, whether it's the position they're in or the position we're in. So as we knee the groin, we're going to stomp down. But what we're really wanting to do besides strike that foot is get our foot up in a soft bow. Our students call this a Jerry Lewis stance. Now, I know a lot of you out there, especially the younger crowd, is not going to know this term, but if you ever watch any old Jerry Lewis movies, he always kind of walked like that as a comedy skit. So they called it the Jerry Lewis stance because you're not in a very good soft bow. But all we're trying to do is set up our hips for the torque, for what comes next. So we do the knee strike, we stomp the foot. The stomp is secondary. The main thing is setting up your body for the next attack or the next defensive move. So as they come in, we grab, kind of separate those arms up, drive the knee straight up, get the groin if you can. If you can't, go into the solar plexus. It doesn't matter. Just hit them. Stomp the foot down, and should have you a drop of a little bit of a body weight as you do that. Okay, as you stomp, because you want that weight on that foot, so you should have some drop of body weight with this. Your hips are now set up for a torque, so now we can do a circular strike. Because remember, we have to have 1 of 3 power patterns if we're actually going to strike somebody with any kind of effectiveness. So we're setting up our hips for that strike. The left hand is going to come up and you're going to grab the hair. A lot of people will just cup the head and kind of hold it, but you want to grab that hair. Now when you grab it, slide in and get as close to the skin as you can and grab and twist. And pull them towards you as you do a cradle and crutch. And what that means is their head is in between your hand and your elbow. Okay, you're going to do from soft bow to horse, cradle and crush. Boom. Okay, now, 2 things. Do not do this. Okay, never assume where your opponent is. Anytime you can, hit your hands, hit something to show what you're after, okay? Because you want to teach your elbow to hit something solid. If you keep doing this, believe it or not, you're just going to stop right there whether your opponent's head's there or not. So we teach grab the head, cradle and crush, open your hand up and hit your own palm so that your elbow will keep going until it comes into contact with something solid. So we got a cradle and crush at the end. Now, if done right, that should end that fight. But as I teach my students, we do not cross out like a lot of systems. Just stand there, hands in a ready position. Okay, again, let's do it from this way. Step back and grab. Okay, we want to make sure if they're going to shove us or we're getting a push, okay, we want to be stable. We want to be in a position where we can put our foot back and stop ourselves from going down and be in a position to defend ourselves, okay? If you're like this and you get pushed, you're not in any position to defend. In fact, anything you do is just going to make matters worse. So, step back. Get yourself stable. Make sure you can stay there if you needed to. Drive that knee up. Stomp that foot down. Drop that body weight, okay? Just drop it down. Just boom. Right on that foot. There again, if you don't get it, don't focus so much on it, but with practice, it'll be a natural instinct to drive up and just follow the knee straight down. Just follow that leg down and you'll find it. But that'll come with practice, so give that time. So grab, knee, stomp, hand, cradle and crush, okay? Just like that. So from here, we step back. Now, doesn't matter if you step back left or right. No. The technique, we step back right. Why? Because most people are right-handed. If you're left-handed, step back left. That does not change the technique all that much. Okay, other than the way you face at the end of it. The same principles are all the same. So, step back right. Knee, stomp, cradle and crush, making sure your elbow and your hip, so they work as one. Okay? We don't get our hip and then elbow, and we don't elbow and then put the hip down. Those two should be together as one unit. Okay? I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Kenpo Circle and learned a little bit more about knee of vengeance. Until our next episode, keep moving forward.